Cool. To
I
everyone
feel
out
like
there,
the
welcome.
shininess on my cup. I feel like the shininess on my cup is giving away too much.
Yes, you got a cup of coffee there.
It's almost empty now.
So that
I got a monster fee.
looks fantastic. See, I've got two viewers on this side.
Cool.
Hey, to everyone out there, how's it? This is I think this is our first time doing this. Yeah, this is basically a Mike. I don't know, a Q&A around about cybersecurity.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Just take any questions that people have and hopefully answer them as honestly and to the best of our ability, I suppose, without giving anything professional away.
Yeah, and we might pass a couple of jokes or twos in there.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Well, let's see what we get. I'm surprised TikTok hasn't got more people automatically on here. That's the one I find weird, that it doesn't just categorize you and throw people at you and say, let's go ask the questions. The other handy thing is we can grab some of these sound bites, and if people ask questions, we can put them into a podcast. We can
yeah,
also grab a couple of clips and throw them into TikTok later on if they're interesting enough.
definitely.
I did manage to get a couple of videos earlier on TikTok classified as cybersecurity. And I figured out one or two ways to do that. And I'm going to see now later on, does the video become more popular or does it spread out now that it's been categorized? Because I have one video that's at like 8,000 views. That was the first one to be categorized. It was the only one until today that was. So I'm kind of guessing that, holding sessions like this where, we're very clear about what we're doing, that it's a cybersecurity topic, and hopefully we get, people asking us questions specifically in TikTok. So that'd be great then to get our content classified.
Definitely, and I think also out of the back of that is potentially to take some of these Q and A's and educate some other people. I mean, and based on the outcome, we can make short snippets of it, and repost it on the internet stream for everyone to use, whether training
Yeah, absolutely.
material or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the main thing. And we got Silent Alpha in the house. Silent, you can feel free to jump into the Discord if you want to have a chat. And I mean, we could have opened up the Discord so that people could join this. Meant to do that at one point. I know that in Twitch you can stick in social links. How's it?
I have on my Twitch profile. I have oh, that's the Alpha Discord. What we can do
Yeah.
is let's create a temporary invite here, and we'll post it in the chat for whoever wants to join
Mm.
Discord. Come join us. Come chat to us. If you don't want to type, then cool. Jump into Discord. Come chat to us. Chat a bit ball. Chat a bit of security, whatever the case. I've just posted it on my side, on the chat as well. Mike, I'm sending you the link. If you just don't, just repost it there on your end, please.
Yeah, no bother. One handy thing we could have done before we do this, and maybe we'll do another one. This is for the Alpha Discord, yeah?
No, this is for the section 31.
Okay. All right.
The channel
So it's
you're
in
in.
there for, yeah. So I stuck it in for Twitch. We'll stick it in for TikTok. And I will own up that I have no idea how to do the live chat one on YouTube.
Just posted in your
Actually,
streamer. Can
oh, I
put
got
there
it.
in the chat.
I got it. The fact that the the fact that the auto reader, the text to speech thing, actually read that out as a word is impressive. That was a random bunch of characters, and it still read it out as it was a word. It's like there's enough vowels in there for it to think it's a word.
Mhm.
It said Najazib, by the way. Oops, that was good from my end.
Okay.
This is the kind of thing where we should just have whiskey, just loads of
Yeah,
whiskey. I think
whiskey
then
and
we would be too
one of
honest.
those uncle cigars, you know. Sit here, chat a bit of cybersecurity, tell the people
Yeah,
what
but
not to do.
this is one of the things where we could have stuck this up on we could have stuck this up on LinkedIn. That would likely have gotten a lot more people coming in.
Yeah, definitely. And it's, I mean, it's potentially a one for all. People's not potentially seeing anything gaming related, although we like to stream game as well. But this is basically a open forum. See it as a type of podcast, but see it as a proper Q&A, where if there's something you needed to know, I mean, you don't really have to disclose, but it might be something that you wanted to know about work or something at home, maybe something about your kids' phones or whatever it is. Um, Potentially, this is the chance that you can ask us, and hopefully we can guide you in the right direction.
All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a second and I'm going to post it up on LinkedIn because that's a trick that I missed,
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
and hopefully it doesn't butcher the URL on me. 'Cause Twitch or not Twitch, LinkedIn likes to do these little slinks, and it can really have issues.
While Michael is sucking at doing multitasking, if there's any questions out
I
there,
uh,
I see there's a couple of viewers. Please feel free to either join us on Discord, or if you want to chat in the chat, please pop your question in there, and hopefully we can decipher it in English and and answer you accordingly.
like any of us speak English. Um,
Well, I mean, you are an Irishman, so and I'm
so I
a
speak nonsense
yeah, and I'm sort of
fluently.
from an Afrikaans background, you know, so talking English is not first nature to me. I must be honest with you.
Cyberbullies. Cyberbullies, my guy, is what Alpha says. Yeah. So YouTube, what was the other? Oh, yeah, TikTok. TikTok dash Kim /. To him to be. Right.
Cool, cool.
Yeah, gratefully on my side, my kids are a little bit too young for it. They also don't have any access to those kind of devices at the minute. Although my daughter's been asking, she's about to turn 10. Um, but obviously everything in my house is locked down for them. And the one thing that I avoid completely for them is Roblox. And I'll give you a little story um after in a second after I just finished this post about why. Um
Are you all right there, Mike? You
I'm really terrible at multitasking. It's one thing at a time with me. It really is.
Hmm.
I gotta wonder, do you need to stick the www dot in for any of these sites?
No,
Any of them fail if you don't?
no, not at all.
I'll stick it in to be sure, but
Yeah, and for the guys viewing out there, if you don't have any questions, great. If you maybe have any suggestions or even topics that you would like us to hear and talk about, please feel free to reach out to us, post it in the chat, reach us on social media. Um, we would gladly um, chat about a specific topic or elaborate a little bit, talk shit around it. So yeah, if there's any ideas,
yeah, or
please come. Yeah.
yeah, or badger us on LinkedIn with a bunch of stuff we don't want to buy. Oh, we have a real question. How can I protect my data online? Okay, so we have one from True Wisdom too. Hey, True Wisdom. Can you elaborate on what you mean protect your data online? Because both of those things are, or two of those topics are quite elaborate, which is data and then online. Obviously, online encompasses everything on the web, or anything that anyone has publicly access to. So, if you can elaborate just a little bit. And while we wait for him to type it out, I'll just tell you that the reason that my kids don't play Roblox is, well, obviously there's a bunch of stories about Roblox on the internet right now, but you know this and that happening, and we don't want to get into that particular topic directly. But there was a day that I went to buy an extra controller. I was short one controller. I went onto a sales website, bought or organized to pick up a controller from a guy, and when I got to his house, dude was sitting there with a one screen in a clearly a one man operation apartment, and what he asked was, "Sorry, no, I'm I'm missing this. My concern, Mike and boss." You'll have to ask Silent what that one's about, but um, effectively, when I got there, the guy was playing Roblox all by himself. Clearly, no kids in the apartment, nothing like that. And the guy looked at me and said, "Oh, I play Roblox with my son, who's in the other room." Now, I'm a pretty observant person. There was nothing that told me there was a kid in that apartment. Nothing at all. So it freaked me out quite at the time, or quite a lot at the time, because I was sitting there going, it's one thing to be playing Roblox, but then to make the story up that there was a kid in the other room didn't make a lot of sense to me. So it just kind of rang alarm bells at the time and freaked me out. So the kids are they're not allowed Roblox at all.
Yeah, Mike, it's yeah, it's a difficult one because you potentially you're gonna have a lot of that in all the different platforms. Um, I mean, you often make that joke, and I won't elaborate on that joke about the Call of Duty playing with kids and whatever.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
that is true. There's a bunch of kids lately these days get exposed to gaming and social content around about the age of 10 upwards. Um, and that's not a bad thing. It learns them the stuff, but if you don't censor it, it can become real bad. And for like anything in the world, there's bad people out there. Let's be honest. There's people with bad behavior, and they're literally trying and making best friends with your kid for all you know, trying to get information out of him till that right day that something might happen. So yeah, restricting the kids. I mean, myself, I'm also a parent of two kids. We also gave them tablets and so forth. But yeah, definitely there should be definitely limits on that. Um,
yeah, absolutely. And when it comes
Okay.
to when it comes to the bullying element of it specifically, because that's, I guess, slightly different. That's people you know versus people you don't know. In most cases, I'm guessing, right? Obviously from our generation, bullying was a little bit more direct. Um, you knew who was bullying you. They were usually standing in front of you in the classroom. They weren't hiding behind a phone. They were 100 miles away.
mm, mm.
They were there. Um, and it's a different world. So I guess you got to protect them in the same way. You take away. or at least educate them that they can't have these devices for these purposes all of the time, and that they have to understand that, this anonymity that they gain from the internet is, it's not quite anonymous, and it doesn't have it's not free of consequence.
Mm.
And even if we think back to when I was in school and we didn't have the internet.
You in school?
um yeah, I was in school a lot. Mm. Some of us had to do it a few times, all right? Yeah, no, I'm joking. I didn't. But the the um the thing was, we had a kid in the class who unfortunately took his own life. And he had done that because of a mutual friend who had made a joke. And I mean, the joke was very minor. Um but the one thing that we all remember from that incident is, obviously, we lost a friend. Um but we technically lost two, because the second person involved in that had not intended any ill harm to that guy with
Mm.
that one comment. It was a simple joke. And I mean, it was like you and me sitting here just messing around, but it affected the first guy so much that he went home and obviously took his own life. And that that guy that was involved, that had made the comment, his life was never the same again after that. You know,
Yeah.
he didn't recover either. And that's the thing, because it's not like he intended even to be that funny or to be malicious in any way. It was a friend to friend joke, but it was done in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And that was the part that pushed, obviously, that one person over the line. Um so you need to educate the kids. And there are programs out there in the schools like CyberSafe and some of these organizations. In fact, I'm on a committee in Galway, for Cyber Ireland, where there is a campaign going on. Now, they're supposed to add me to these meetings, and they haven't really over the last while. But there are, huge amounts of people in these meetings who put their heads together and have every intention of putting out campaigns and spreading awareness on these cyberbullying situations that happen online. And hopefully these things help. And I think part of the issue is, and if I'm being completely honest, I think we've kind of said it really already in this conversation, is that when we went to school, we didn't have to deal with this. So we don't really, really understand the scope of it,
Definitely.
right? Yeah. So it's like, if you ask us something about when we were kids, we experienced it firsthand. We know. We don't know this. This is something that we need that generation of kids to grow up and to tell us and explain the whole situation. And we need to just be extra vigilant online to seeing what our kids are doing, and pay attention. Um, the amount of times that we
Can,
see parents don't have the right setups at home, where it's just open Wi-Fi, kids can do whatever they want, or worse, the parents think they're secure because they have X product or they have X service installed, or they've done a little bit of configuration. They think they've nailed it down, and they really haven't.
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, sorry, can I raise a question?
Yeah, of
Well, you
course you
don't
can.
really
You
need
jumped
to
in. I
raise
didn't
it,
even
but
see
you
you
can
there.
ask it. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. So,
we'll
so,
open the ticket.
so
Have you opened the ticket?
yeah. If you can help me. Okay.
Uh,
I hear what you say, Mike. Out of my point of view is, look, for me, obviously you and Silent Boss is cybersecurity. Now, for me, being security on the ground and all the qualifications I have, on the ground, sorting out the shit physically. Um,
Yep.
my daughter is at that age where there's cyberbullying going on and that sort of stuff, and I go through her phone daily, daily. So, how do I prevent her from being cyberbullied when she's not, you know, how can I say this in plain English? Uh, she doesn't retaliate. Understand? She doesn't retaliate, but I
Mhm.
can see on a long term, it's starting to affect her. I mean, just this past month, we had four suicide deaths in high school children. So I'm just afraid, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but you're starting to see my point. Um,
Yeah.
I want to start preventing that, especially me going overseas. How do I prevent that? Um, the cyberbullying and all the name callings and that sort of stuff over WhatsApps and whatever the case might be. How do I prevent that in cybersecurity phase? Look, I can go to their home and and burn their house down or kick down their doors and shoot the fuck out of them. But how do I prevent that for cyberbullying?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. And look, I think we've all been there. I'll just address the last part of it first, right? So I guess we've all been there where someone messes with their kid in some way, and you want to, inside you really want to react negatively. And even though you
Mm,
may never, that may never normally cross your mind in a day-to-day situation when it's just you. And I've even had that recently where a neighbor had shouted at my kid, a new neighbor, someone that had just moved
mm,
in, who's having problems with a different neighbor, and they shouted at
mm.
my kid. And the neighbor that I do know sent me a video of it because their ring doorbell was
Yeah,
paying attention, basically. And I said the same to my wife. I was like, that's the last time they shout at my kids, right? Because the next
yeah,
time I'll deal with it myself. And but the thing is, if you do that, right, obviously it only ends badly. There is no good outcome, right? Um, the best scenario that you get out of that is that you show up, you get violent, perhaps the person stops or the person doesn't, but what will happen definitely is the cops will get involved and they'll take you away, not that person, right? Because
mm,
that person, the crime is really hard to prove, where the crime that you're about to commit or would commit in that scenario would be really easy to prove. Right. So I don't know what the cops are like in SA, but they here, if it's if it's really easy for the cops to see a crime is being committed, obviously they react to that
Mm.
because they have to.
yeah,
They're obligated to.
yeah,
It's their job.
mm,
Um, in with the cyberbullying thing itself, and I know that feeling where you have to travel and you don't know, while you're away, or your kid's safe, is everything gonna be all right? How do I help them when I'm a couple of thousand miles away or a couple of hundred miles away and I can't get there quickly? Um, that's stressful in every scenario, whether the cyberbullying involved or not. But if you want to protect them the best you can, mm, it's the same thing in business as it is in personal life. You got to educate them, your child, um, in how to handle the situation,
yeah,
and set the expectation that, look, these people who are being anonymous, who are sitting there acting this way, and um, bullying, they they're doing so because it's hidden, because they feel they
mm,
can get away with it. They also want the
mm,
reaction. And if you teach them that if you give no reaction in this scenario, they will stop, right?
yeah.
And I guess that from a child's perspective or a teenager's perspective, ego
But now,
comes into it a big way. I
hundred
guess
percent.
it's
But
and look,
that's a
we
yeah. That's the point I
no,
want
go ahead.
to. Sorry for interrupting. But
No,
that's the
no, go
point I
ahead.
want to make now. I mean, we adults, we mentally strong for that sort of shit. Okay, but
Mhm.
explain the mental dominance for a 16-year-old child that is not mentally strong like you and I. Um,
Yeah.
to prevent cock like that.
Maybe as mentally strong as you. I'm not always that mentally strong, but it really is a tough one. It is a tough one to tell teenagers anything on the best day, right? You can tell them the best
Mm,
advice in the world, and it I guess it won't absorb anyway, right? Um, so I guess it's not something that I can answer on the spot and give you a concrete resolution to it.
yeah, no, yeah,
The
yeah.
one the one
I'm not.
the one
Yeah, yeah.
anecdotal, well, it's not really anecdotal because it's personal experience, but I maybe Kevin knows some of this and maybe some people don't, but all of my teenage years, and I mean all of them, up until my mid-20s, I did a lot of martial arts when I was a teenager. And my plan
Mm.
was to go into the military and to go into the police force and all of this. And it didn't quite work out. However,
No.
I did all of that when I was a teenager, and all I learned from that, or well, I learned quite a bit from it, but what I learned specifically about it was when you do things like this, it does a few things. One, it does make you disciplined to some degree, but what it also does is make you paranoid, right? Because you're taught in all of those self-defense classes and those martial arts classes, you're taught people are trying to get you,
Yeah.
right? And that actually isn't true, right? They don't
Mm.
do a very good job of telling you there's a chance somebody will try and get you one day, right? It's always from the negative because they're trying to sell you on this thing that you're doing, right? And the other thing that you figure out is that when you're a teenager and you're full of bravado and your first reaction is to retaliate, people antagonize you more. Some of those people want you to react. They want you to react back and they want you to attack them and they want to cause that kind of drama. Um, and what I learned when I got older was that me making jokes and having a sense of humor, which I honestly did not develop really until I was much older. I didn't really have that sense of humor when I was a teenager. I probably didn't have any sense of humor when I was a teenager.
Do you have sense of
That
humor?
ability to make jokes, it's around here somewhere. But the the thing was that that is that is the thing that got me out of more fights than anything. Right? Martial
Mm.
arts, fighting, none of these things actually prevented a fight.
No.
Jokes, being able to talk to people, being able to have a laugh, being able to not take myself too seriously. Those are the things that stopped me having fights. Those are the things that got me out of fights. And I actually can't remember the last time I had to protect myself in any kind of way like that.
Mm.
That's not something I would have said as a teenager,
No.
right? As a teenager,
Mm.
I could have said the last time I had to protect myself could have been a day or two ago, right? That's
Mm.
just the way it was because when your outlook on life is to retaliate, um, you will have to.
Mm.
Look,
Well,
just
That
well,
on
opportunity
I
will
hear what
come.
you say.
sorry,
I hear
Bruce.
what you say, but yeah, ask my brother. I'm a FIFO guy. Fuck around and find out. I'm that kind of guy. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Unfortunately,
so
unfortunately, when it comes to kids, and this is one thing we need to remember that there's two sides to this, right? The first side, and this is potentially I mean we can have a topic around this, but this potentially walks in hand with parenting as well, because I think the most difficult one is to get that balance to say, okay, well, I'm censoring my child's phone, I'm doing all this stuff, but in a sense of I see there's a new joiner on the Discord channel. Hey, how's it? But potentially to see the to censor all the chats and everything that is potentially happening might also make that your kid sort of retaliate against you, right? Oh, what is my father doing now? He's like
What are you playing?
censoring all my stuff. He's just constantly watching over my back, that type of behavior. And then on the other side, it's mainly, I mean, your intentions is good. It's like, yeah, I want to protect my child on social. So I think the most important thing is that in a sense of how do we teach our kids to be strong in cases like that, and have the open channel towards parenting to freely come speak when stuff like that happens. I don't think there's any security measures from a tech stance that you can implement on your kid's phone that potentially, yeah, you can censor it, you can look at everything, but it already happened. The damage is there. But what you can do is the inspirational thing, and the parenting thing is to say, okay, well, how does she or him have potentially that build up an emotional strength to retaliate against the situation, and not the person that is actually being dumb on the other end.
Here,
So
Kev.
it's going any side. Hey, how's it?
Kev, do you know, yeah,
So,
Kev, do you know
so
what the
Ray's asking there what we're playing, but we're actually doing a live stream, Ray, where we're answering security questions.
oh,
And
no, I was just gonna say there, do you know what the problem is? The problem is everything is too censored now.
Yeah.
because when we were children, nothing was censored, and that's why we're resilient to everything.
Yeah, yeah. I must
Yeah,
be honest with you.
everything is too censored,
I mean, when
and
yeah, sorry, Ray. Carry on.
no, yeah, it's just everything is too censored. Like this whole thing that you can give out about everything, about being offended by everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's stupid. Like,
yeah, yeah. And I mean, when we were kids, I mean, we grew up on potentially in a farm town and all that. So,
you know exactly what I mean, man.
yeah, yeah, exactly. If you had scratch with somebody, probably that somebody's parents knows your parents, you know, and they would literally drive to one another, give one of you each a piece of stick, and say, "Well, you go to the garage and go sort each other out while we watch." You know, stuff like that. It's like, let's sort this
Mm.
out, get it over and done with, give each other a beating, and go on with your lives. You know, that was the type of. But in today's day and age, it is so easy for a guy out of the US to communicate to somebody in Africa, or Africa to spam somebody in Ireland for that matter, you know, and there's no such thing as driving to one another. So, but once again, yeah, it's all about that motivational, having that open channels between you and your kids, being there for them, and yeah, teaching them who to surround them with. Obviously, social media is algorithm based as well. So if you're going to associate yourself with the wrong people, you're going to get yourself in the wrong situations. That's just the way it is, because the social media forums and whatever is measured on who you measure yourself with, so, or who you surround yourself with. So yeah, just on that front as well, yeah, there's a lot of what has been done on the internet, and what we also do need to remember is the internet's linked with one another. So if you have one bad channel on one piece of, call it Twitch, the next thing you might see, there will be relevant information like that popping up on a Facebook stream somewhere. You know, so the stuff and the media attractions is linked to each other, and that might be, if you once linked with that, you might see it in various different platforms as well, popping up and whatever.
And we had a question from True Wisdom a few minutes ago, but I couldn't answer it because we were still on this topic. But I'll answer it now if I can, which is how to spot out phishing emails and also protect reused passwords. So, True Wisdom, this is fairly easy enough from our point of view, and
Mm,
this is something that we do regularly, which is that if you want to protect yourself from phishing emails, one is to educate yourself on exactly what the phishing emails look like, what they're looking to do, what they're looking to accomplish, and then you can potentially spot them before they come. But the other thing to do, and I have actually a video on this in my TikTok, I think it's also on my YouTube channel, which is that you enable MFA absolutely everywhere that you can. You start with your financial systems, your banking, your credit cards, your Revolut, basically anything to do with anything financial that you have, and you work your way from there. You also protect your email addresses with the same, right? So um, if they get a hold of your email address, obviously that's the thing that's connected to everything else. That's how you reset passwords for everything that you have. That's how you regain access when you don't have MFA. That's how you disable MFA, or you contact companies when you need that info, or when you need that to be reset. So yeah, MFA is the way to go when it comes to protecting with reused passwords and things like that. I actually have a good topic on this that I might do a video on later. Don't reuse passwords across sites. There's a really easy way to do this. And it's simple enough, right? What you do is, instead of using really long, complicated passwords, which a lot of systems have been recommending for years, which now, if you look at the ISO 27001 and the ISO 27002 standards, they actually say not to do the way it was done before,
yeah,
which is those really long, complicated, obfuscated passwords. Use something memorable. Take a bunch of words that are not connected to each other, put them into a sentence, capitalize here and there. But what you can also do, and this is something that I recommend generally, is include something that changes the password from the website that you're looking into. So, for example, I'll use Twitch just as an example. Say I have my words chosen from a dictionary. I have my dictionary words that are not connected, a couple of them there, three or four. and throw the word Twitch in there somewhere, or throw in some initials that indicate that it came from Twitch. This does two things for you. Okay, one is that the password actually won't be identical when you go from one site to the other. If you're using Twitch, you will have somewhat of a different password than if you were going into YouTube or going into some other service. The other thing that it does is that if the password is ever leaked, you know where it was leaked, right? Because this is what happens regularly when we go online and we do searches for people who work in our companies, or we look at vendors and things like that. What we do is we try to create a digital twin of that person, try to get an understanding of what their footprint looks like online. And we have tools to do this automatically. We don't have to do this one by one. So we have things like Spiderfoot, for example, which is where we find email addresses online that have been leaked. And then we pass them through tools like Spiderfoot or the AIL project or any of these other tools that basically go off and see if there's any data records in any of these big, large data leaks that tell us that their passwords have been compromised. And the thing is, you don't always know what site that came from. When GDPR was introduced, there's actually a section of GDPR that did say, and I'm conscious of trying to speak from authority on this when I haven't looked at what the GDPR requirement is in a while. But it used to be that if there was a breach from a company, they could potentially lose 20 million of their annual revenue or 4% of their annual revenue, depending on which number was larger. So this gave companies every incentive to protect their data, make sure that it didn't leak. And if you have something like that in your password where you can prove that you have a character in there and you know what site it came from, then you can tell that it was compromised. Another thing you can do is when you're setting up your accounts on those websites, it'll ask you for your first and last name. Sometimes it asks you for the middle name. My name is Michael YouTube Kid, right? Just
Yeah.
put that in there, right? Put the middle name in there as the site that you got it from. That way, when you get an email later on, or stick it in as the last name, who cares, right? It ain't gonna ID check you. Put it as the last name. Put it as the first name. Put it somewhere so that when someone tries to contact you with a spam email and says, John YouTube, how are you doing today? I'd like to sell you something. YouTube has, and I'm just using YouTube as a guinea pig here, but we'll say like, hey, YouTube leaked my email address, and I can prove it.
Yeah.
Right? Again, using it as a total arbitrary thing. YouTube has not leaked, and well, Google has not leaked my data. Thankfully.
Definitely, and also on top of that, if you do receive a phishing email, majority of the cases you would find that there is a couple of things. The first thing you need to ask yourself is, am I expecting this email? Did I prompt some sort of platform for a login? If not, don't even bother opening stuff like that. And the second thing is, majority of the times there will be a link involved. A majority of the times there will either be a spelling mistake in the link, or there might be a character that's obfuscated. So it might be an I that's interchanged with a one somewhere in the link. So
Mhm.
if you do see that, and just a word of advice, I mean, it's not just emails, it comes through on SMSs. Especially SMSs, they like doing this where they shorten the URLs or the link that you need to click
Mhm.
on. If you don't know where that SMS comes from and you are not expecting that SMS, do not open that link from the word go. Those shortened links you cannot identify from the word go what it is. So my word of advice from an SMS perspective is, if you see something, you don't know what it is, it's not identified in the message of what you received in text, who the company is or whatever, um, do not even click on it, especially on mobile phones, because you won't know. Right.
Well, I don't know about you, but I am expecting to win the Spanish lottery a couple of times this week.
Okay. Okay.
But
Just put your credentials
yeah,
in there.
but well, I had to cash the money out somehow, right? The 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 way that it used to be really easy to spot emails, and I worked for quite a well known tech company years ago on their account security and tech support lines where we'd get the call saying, "Hey, I got an email. I don't know if it's real or if it's a scam or whatever." Right? Um, we'd guide through people on how to spot them quite easily, and then give them that reassurance. Hey, you're safe to leave that alone, or you can tag it and send it to us. But it used to be a case where there was usually spelling mistakes or grammatical errors in the emails quite a lot. Nowadays, unfortunately, AI has obviously made that really easy for the attackers who don't speak English perfectly, um, to get around that, where they can make them quite perfect, and you don't see the mistake. They can copy them so clearly, because half the time years ago, what they did was they'd even sometimes just take a screenshot of a real email from X company and throw it up on their in their emails, and then send it to you, and then put a real link somewhere in there. Or sorry, well, not a real link, but a link with the intention of getting you to go to the wrong website. The really careful one or the really obvious ones are like the URL has been altered, so it's not youtube.com, it's youtube blah 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 blah.com, right? Or youtube.com and then a string, and then there's a forward slash and a .com and all of this at the end to make you think that the URL looked legit to a point, and you just stopped reading, or weren't paying enough attention, and it looked legit enough. And we see this this isn't just something um, on a personal level for people. This happens professionally too. I mean, it's quite common to get someone who is quite highly educated in these things to still fall for them to some degree. Um, I think even years ago, I think I've told this story to enough people that there was one morning I'd started with a new company and I was meant to meet the CEO. And about 6 o'clock in the morning, I get a message saying, "Hey, Mike, can you do me a favor?" And it's got the CEO's name on it. And because I'm supposed to meet that person in like 3 hours, I was expecting it, but I was still asleep. So I said, "Yeah, what's up?" And then a couple of minutes later, I get another message asking me to do, send money or whatever. And I'm like, "Oh." And I wake up fully, get a coffee in me, and I look at the messages, and I'm like, "Oh, this is from someone random." But what was really alarming was the fact that if I hadn't have had that meeting with the CEO 3 hours later, I wouldn't have even answered, because it would have been more obvious to me that, hey, why is the CEO of the company messaging me? However, when it was a 3 hour window and I was kind of going, there's actually a good chance he could message me this morning when I'm half asleep. I'm thinking there is actually a good reason, because I was expecting the next message was, do you mind if we push that meeting out a bit? Or do you mind if we move it to a different day or something? Where that would have been perfectly understandable. But you see, even when you're educated in these things and you're used to them and you see a million different use cases of them, you can still somewhat fall for them. I mean, they didn't get any info from me other than I do actually work for this company and that my telephone number is real. That's what they got from me. But with all the HSE leaks we have in Ireland and all of our numbers are exposed here. There's people who bought brand new phones with new numbers and they're already leaked.
Yeah, we're like constantly getting fucking phone calls from like dodgy numbers, and like it's a constant, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I get more
Like
direct with them now at this point. I'm just like,
it's
I've
it's
got ones
literally,
from like Canadian companies telling me, "Would you like to buy shares in this?" No, why are
yeah,
you calling me to buy shares? This is weird.
but it's
Get away.
literally every single day you're guaranteed to have at least one phone call from somebody outside of Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
you heard
Or the
about
Indeed calls that
Which
we're
is
all getting
crazy.
used
Like,
to. We're all getting used to. Hi, I'm from Indeed.
yeah,
Sounds like you're being held hostage. You're like, the only part that's realistic is that you work for Indeed and you sound like you're being held hostage. That's about the only part I believe.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. Normally, when they ask me to buy shares or anything, I would just say, okay, well, see, the thing is, I don't have a problem buying your shares. But can you loan me a small loan for about 6 months? Then I can buy the shares on the loan. and then we talk again after 6 months. Then they just go away by themselves.
What we need to do in those scenarios is actually learn the lingo and scare the living crap out of them by actually knowing a little bit about what we're talking about. That's the problem, is that we don't, right? I don't know enough about shares to be able to talk back and scare them, but we need someone to kind of give us a little course on that. On how do you absolutely scare the living crap out of them?
Yeah, the easiest way to scare them or to put them off is, hey, I hear your story, great. Let me quickly consult with my financial advisor. Give me your detail, I'll get back to you. And then they just go away by themselves. Because the biggest
Yeah,
fear
or you
for
can just
those
do it.
guys
At that point,
is
you could just hang
financial
up. They're not
advisors.
likely to call back.
Mm, mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, definitely. Cool. For all the new streamers out there, please, if there's any questions, any asks, uh, anything you need to know, please join us on Discord. Or if you're a bit shy, please write us a message in the chat. If you do have any information that you might have been compromised before, whatever, send us a DM. All our details is on our various pages. If you don't want to disclose it publicly, there's forums and channels that you can reach out to us in a case that something happened or something and you don't want to disclose it open air. More than welcome to reach out directly as well.
I actually I have a Discord that I play FIFA on, and in the space of 2 months, two of the guys clicked on. I don't know if you've seen them on Discord. The way that they invite you to a server, and you basically click on it, and then what happens is you send out the links yourself. I don't know if you've seen them
Okay.
ones. Yeah, but like it's like what like it came into the server and it was like e-girls and mommies.
Sure.
And like it sent it into every channel in the server, and then it kept on doing it like 3 or 4 times. Like it's
Okay.
yeah, it's crazy, man. It's like hackers and fucking
I'm trying to think on how you could do it, but I suppose that's not really the question. The question is, do you have enough Discord servers for e-girls and mommies? No, or are you like just short? The yeah, I'd have to see that one in action to understand. But the thing is that
yeah,
when you
it's
like
weird.
that,
Like
there is some services that you can actually check, right? So, one of the really lightweight ones that we use is called AnyRun, which is where you can stick a URL into it, and it acts like a VDI. It acts as a virtual desktop where you can open a link and see what it actually is trying to accomplish without putting your own system in danger. Normally, we'd use a thing called a sandbox, which is this little isolated area. It's kind of like opening or setting off a bomb inside of a protective box, right? It just means that the damage is contained within that environment, and because that environment's going to be wiped in 10 minutes anyway, that's fine. It doesn't do anything, and it has none of your data on it that it can be compromised. It can't really call out. All that's going to happen is it's going to be erased. So yeah, AnyRun would be the recommendation. If you get links you're not sure of, that's a really good place to check. The handy thing about using a service like AnyRun, and AnyRun is free, by the way. I'm not recommending anyone go out buy anything. But the handy thing about something like AnyRun is that when you put a URL in, not only does it check it to see if anyone else put it in and found out that it was malicious, it will check it if you're the first person to put it in, and it will inform everyone else next time they come in to see if one of those services is trying to mess with them. So it helps to protect more people. And the fact that it's free and it runs in a browser without you having to download anything is top notch.
You sound like a
Really handy
sales
for
guy.
checking. I know, yeah. Please buy it. I am wearing a Threat Locker T-shirt today, by the way. Hopefully they'll pay me, or just send me some more T-shirts. My wife will tell you I love this T-shirt. Just the material. I have an allergy to plastics, so find new T-shirts that I actually just feel comfortable in, that aren't too hot, aren't burning my skin or giving me a rash. This is rare, so I appreciate this one. It was probably some cheap material out of China, but I am not allergic to it, so I'm grateful. Yeah,
what
next time I
what
see them,
what
I'm just gonna grab
what are
T-shirts
you
from their table.
actually allergic to?
I think it's like polyester.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
it's
Polyester.
yeah. If
Oh, I
you
have the
obviously
same
look
thing. I do.
for people that don't know, Ray is my cousin, and he didn't really know me when I was a kid, but most of the rest of the family would know that I was given glasses as a kid. As you can see, that eye's not great. Given glasses as a kid. Don't you make fun of my wonky eye, right? And for anyone that needs material, they used to call me Clarence. I don't fully understand the reference, but it was the 80s, right? I'm not gonna look for the I'm not gonna look for the logic or Google it. But the thing was when they gave me the glasses, right? They were the big old granny glasses because we didn't have much money when I was a kid, and it was common that they just give you those glasses for free. This is why all the old ladies had those big plastic glasses, by the way. The ones that are transparent all the way around, and there's like a frame running through them. But the thing was, that's when they figured out I was allergic because the skin on my face started peeling badly. So yeah, a lot of plastic materials. I just can't have them on my skin. That's why I wear, plastic or not plastic watches, metal watches, and I try avoid plastic laptops and things like that I have to rest on for quite a while. But it's not like it's a peanut allergy or something. I'm not going to die from it.
Mike, I think
Just
that's an act. I think that's an actual. It's a family thing. It's a family trait.
yeah.
Oh,
Someone else has it.
yeah, yeah. No, yeah.
See,
I'm
Ray has to
allergic.
tell me what I've actually got medically wrong with me from my family because he's known them longer than I've known.
Yeah, no, I've got problems with my skin. My dad has problems with his skin. All the men all have problems with their skin. Look, it's a
Don't make
genetic
any
thing. Look,
statement that says all the men.
I've just
but
got one word for it,
no, but you
guys.
know what I mean. Like all our family all have like skin problems and shit. And like I have I actually have an appointment there to go to the fucking dermatologist there in May.
Hmm.
Like when I'm getting my tattoos. I have the
Yeah.
the guy. He puts on the black gloves. I can't remember what that's called. It's a
Oh, because you've some kind of allergy to the latex or the.
yeah, the latex. Yeah. So whenever I get a tattoo, I always get like rashes after it because he uses the latex. Like
Uh,
Yeah.
I got some advice for you guys. Just two things:
Go on.
bath regularly and use Nivea.
Use Nivea. Actually, now that we're on that subject, right? Nivea is fine, but for some reason, I can't stand Dove. That stuff touches my skin. I'm on fire.
oh
I'm
man,
thinking they're just laced with plastic or something. They are just. That is
Well,
not.
I
I'm not meant to be standing here bad mouthing a company.
like
But
I used to
I
get like
can't stand it.
rashes and stuff when I was a kid because of the washing up liquid or the washing up powder. And if I don't use anything but that, I get rashes. Like.
it's crazy, boys.
Okay, so
How
we're
do
gonna
we
have to
go
change.
from fishing
We're gonna have to. I know.
campaigns, yeah, right up to skincare?
It's now the cybersecurity Q&A session. Skincare regularly. It's gonna be the weirdest podcast we've ever heard.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Cybersecurity and skincare. That's what we're gonna call this week. That works for me.
Uh, all right, I think we heading close to the end of the session as well. One last chance. I see there is a couple of viewers still online. If there's any questions, do feel free to ask. The links we have discussed, and just for a couple of guys on here, we'll post the links in the description. Um, so if there's anything you need to check out with any run or any of the links we've discussed, we'll post it there for you guys to use and to go register and stay safe on the net. We're gonna try to do this regularly. I quite enjoy this. Um, maybe once a week or so, Mike. We'll discuss it offline. Maybe put a schedule out and do our session once a week. Grab a general topic. Please feel free to give us some topics if there's anything you would like us to chat about. And please, if you've got any questions, join us on Discord or actually in just send us a message, or if there's anything you would like to chat to us about that you don't want disclosed on the net, please send us a DM or reach out to any means and we'll assist you.
Awesome, guys. Cool. I think we'll leave that one there. We might get a movie in before bed. All right.
All
Awesome.
right.
Thanks for watching.
Cool. Thanks, guys.